Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 20th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you're doing good yourself. Hopefully, you're in the spirit, in the mood, the holiday festivities, if you will. I do like that today is what they call a palindrome. Let me go ahead and just read the definition. A word, phrase, or sequence that reads the same backwards as forward. Um, e.g. or ergo, madam or nurses run. Oh, there you go. There's a little phrase. But yeah, it's 420. So yeah, if you know, you know. Hopefully, you're acquainted. You know what's up. So yeah, let's see. Food though. Let me talk about myself a little bit. Let's talk about what I ate. What did I eat yesterday? I had an order of Domino's. It was very yummy. Pizza Friday. Hooray for Pizza Day. And it was, what did I put on the pizza? I had beef and spinach on one with provolone cheese. And then I had pepperoni and onion on the other with also provolone cheese. I feel like that's just a good add-on. It's just worth a little bit of extra you'll pay for just the extra cheese that way. Um, let's see here. Yeah, it was pizza. It was good. Not much else to really elaborate there. I feel like. Oh yeah, the barbecue base was on the beef one, so it was like a little bit more of a. I was trying to get like a more of a barbecue burger vibe out of it. I guess I more or less acquired that, but I wanted to add like more toppings, and then it's like that's where it's kind of annoying, right? I mean, this is any restaurant you go to. The more you add, the more you gotta pay. So it's like, oh, okay, I don't need to add all this stuff, and then like this $15 order becomes a $20 order. It's just not worth it to me at that point. I'm losing a bit of the magic that is Domino's Pizza. All right. So yeah, there was that. That happened. I mean, there's really not much else to, report about my day as, episode to episode in between. Like I said, I'm really happy for today. It's been nice. It's been really relaxed. I haven't done too much. Uh, you know, I, Due to poor sleeping habits, I wound up kind of sleeping in this morning. So that was kind of nice. I just kind of woke up and did a little gaming, and of course, have been enjoying myself, with the holiday. All right, anyway, let me go ahead and do it. Let's do the startup. Hopefully, this is definitely the day. If you don't normally do a startup and show up to the startup and participate, then, today's the day to do it. You know what I mean? So, see you there. Oh, yeah. All right. From the Associated Press, the Senate passes a reauthorization of a key U.S. surveillance program just after a midnight deadline. Barely missing its midnight deadline, the Senate voted early Saturday to reauthorize a key surveillance law after divisions over whether the FBI should be restricted from using the program to search for Americans' data nearly forced the statute to lapse. The legislation, approved 60 to 34 with bipartisan support, would extend for 2 years the program known as Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. It now goes to President Joe Biden's desk to become law. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Biden will swiftly sign the bill. In the nick of time, we are reauthorizing FISA right before it expires at midnight. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said when voting on final passage began 15 minutes before the deadline. All day long, we persisted and we persisted in trying to reach a breakthrough, and in the end, we have succeeded. The U.S. has said the surveillance tool, first authorized in 2008 and renewed several times since then, is crucial in disrupting terror attacks, cyber intrusions, and foreign espionage, and has also produced intelligence that the U.S. has relied on for specific operations, such as the 2022 killing of Al Qaeda leader Ayman al Zawahiri. So, let me see. I think that I do have I have a little bit more here to read. Sorry. If you miss a key piece of intelligence, you may miss some event overseas or put troops in harm's way. Senator Mark Rubio, the top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee, said, "You may miss a plot to harm the country here, domestically, or somewhere else." So in this particular case, there's real life implications. The proposal would renew the program, which permits the U.S. to collect without a warrant the communications of non-Americans located outside the country to gather foreign intelligence. The reauthorization faced a long and bumpy road to final passage Friday after months of clashes between privacy advocates and national security hawks pushed consideration of the legislation to the brink of expiration. So I initially had heard this story kind of from a little bit of the narrative perspective of like, hey, like Donald Trump kind of hates this because he was caught in the FISA dragnet and he was kind of pushing, his alt-right, little cult, brethren, footlickers, whatever. He's like, you guys should get rid of this. This is bad. Like, this isn't good. He was like, whining about it on Truth Social, if I'm not mistaken. But needless to say, it seems that, even, from that side of the fence, there's, progressives who are like, well, this is a privacy breach because you can do this to Americans and there's no one to stop it. Like there's no one, like, that's what a warrant's for. You can at least have some kind of middleman. But essentially the FBI kind of says, well, if you put this barrier, a warrant, which we have in the States, to stop, law enforcement from just like doing whatever the fuck they want. They have to at least talk to a judge and say, hey, are we within the parameters of the law to do this? We need to do it for this reason. Having that kind of thing, they're saying the FBI is like, it's friction. It's going to stop us, potentially jams up the whole thing that we like the operation. We need to be able to move swiftly, silently, and do I agree with this? No, especially when I started thinking about it, like post the Donald Trump bullshit. I was like, oh no, I really don't love this. But I also realized too that it doesn't matter how I feel about it. Like, this is nation state shit. Like, at the end of the day, the FBI is going to be like, we need to have this kind of power. And I think they're going to be able to lobby enough politicians to be like, yeah, sign the shit. Let's just keep this shit in motion. Maybe one day it gets turned over. This hasn't always been a thing, but it does kind of just make sense when you look at it from that perspective. I'm not saying I agree with it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, of course they're going to do this. Of course they're going to be okay, excuse me, with the FBI having this kind of autonomy and power, whether or not they fuck up or not, which they have fucked up. But it's like, whatever, we need it for our national security. So yeah, it's a little, concerning, of course, but once again, it's business as usual. So I'm not surprised that, this has made it all the way through from the House to the Senate, and, Biden's going to sign it. There's more there, but I feel like I riffed enough on it. I guess I want to talk about maybe some of the FBI foibles until we move on to another FBI foible. In the past year, U.S. officials have revealed a series of abuses and mistakes by FBI analysts in improperly curing the intelligence repository for information about Americans or others in the U.S., including a member of Congress and participants in the racial justice protests of 2020 and the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol. But members on both of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees, as well as the Justice Department, warned requiring a warrant would severely handicap officials from quickly responding to imminent national security threats. So there you go. There you have it. Let's move on to the next bump. From USA Today. U.S. to pay $100 million to survivors of Nasser's abuse. FBI waited months to investigate. The Justice Department has agreed to pay more than $100 million to a group of survivors over the FBI's mishandling of sex abuse allegations levied against former USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nasser. A person familiar with the matter confirmed to USA Today Sports on Wednesday. The person spoke under the condition of anonymity because the settlement has not been finalized. The deal comes nearly 3 years after a report by the Justice Department Inspector General criticized FBI officials in Indianapolis for failing to respond to allegations of abuse they received about Nasser with the utmost seriousness and urgency. It also brings the liability payouts in legal cases brought by victims of Nasser's abuse to nearly $1 billion. The 9-figure payout will be distributed to more than 100 victims who filed legal claims against the FBI in 2022, following the release of the Inspector General's report. A group that includes Olympic champions Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, and Ali Reisman. The report found the FBI agents conducted limited follow-up after learning of the abuse allegations against Nasser, who has since been sentenced to what amounts to a lifetime prison sentence on sexual assault and child pornography charges. I covered this a bit, so obviously I don't really want to dwell on that too much, but I did want to read this quote from Maroney. After telling my entire story of abuse to the FBI in the summer of 2015, not only did the FBI not report my abuse, but when they eventually documented my report 17 months later, they made entirely false claims about what I said. And that's what Maroney said at a congressional hearing following the 2021 release of the report. So it's very unfortunate to know that you're entrusting this incident to this law enforcement body, and it's okay, I've gone through this, I've told them this, and now things are gonna get settled. And then you wait over a year, and then you finally hear the statement that they come out with, and they're just not attributing what you said at all correctly. That would be so infuriating, on top of what you've had to endure and go through. So, I completely understand why it is such a high number. I'll say this before. Yeah, it sounds big, but then, obviously once, this number really gets to you, with all the legal fees and all that kind of shit, it's not as big, but still, it is I feel good payout, and at least it goes to show, hey, we're sorry, we fucked up. More than 500 women were abused by Nasser, who spent 18 years as the team doctor of the U.S. Women's National Gymnastics team, and also worked at Michigan State. I'm pretty sure, we've covered this before, but yeah, he's in jail for more or less what amounts to life in prison. So he's not going to be getting out, but good that the victims are getting some sort of compensation. So, okay, we've gotten through pretty much all of the ick. The rest of this episode's pretty low key, low core. It's not intense. From the BBC, squatters vow to stay in Gordon Ramsay's pub. So I guess we're so back. I thought we were Jover, but we're so motherfucking back. Squatters? I can't even talk right now. Actually, you know what? In the spirit of the holidays, we're gonna take a little halfway break. How about that? Yeah, that feels good. I'm gonna drink some water. Okay. Squatters have vowed to remain inside a Gordon Ramsay pub in London, saying they have come to an agreement with the owner of the building. The group of at least 6 people boarded up windows and put up a legal warning defending their occupation of the Grade 2 listed York and Albany Hotel and Gastropub near Regent's Park last week. So we covered this. I initially had these guys out of the building. Gordon Ramsay his team had got legal control, saying, hey, we want you guys out. And okay, we're out. But apparently some of the squatters initially said they would comply with the high court order leading to a steady stream of people leaving on Friday. But a number are said to have since returned, and it is unclear how many remain inside the building. But I guess they had reached an agreement, and maybe they're going to be able to do their little art cafe situation. Which, don't be wrong, I hope I don't sound like I'm like belittling it. You know, I know I've kind of talked about it maybe in a way that doesn't sound like I think this is cool or good. I do think it is. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so we're gonna do ethical squatting. You know, it just comes with its pangs. I'm glad that they were able to come to some kind of conclusion that works out and allows this to exist, because it's, once again, it sounds like a really cool idea. But yeah, you know, I was just like, okay, what the hell is this, man? Because once it just seems like squatting is becoming one of those like things of the year to talk about, like, you know. So we have, like, you know, what the conservatives are doing about it, what leftists are doing about it, you know, here and abroad. So sometimes I can feel away, but I really do think this is a cool idea, and I'm glad these guys are able to come back and make it happen. So hell yeah to that. But once again, you know, I hope I just don't want to see motherfuckers doing the kind of shit, where you're like throwing soup on art paintings and shit. I know I'm in the weeds talking about completely other things, but you know, there's certain things that I think are super fucking cool and wholesome and great, and it sums up. We'd love to see it. I would love to talk about it positively. And there's other things where I'm just like, long sigh. Like, I get where you're coming from. I understand the passion and conviction, but is this worth it? Like, are you gonna crucify me for having a Big Mackey? Like, you know, it's just things like that, you know. But I don't know. Maybe that's me being a boomer millennial or some shit. Maybe that's my burden, my problem. Um, anyway, I have one more thing to cover, and then I'll let you go. But you know what? We've made it to the end, so let's go ahead and take our last break. And as classic Isaiah Newsstand fashion, you know, we got to do it to him one more time. Mm. Whew. All right. From ABC News. Hero Taco Bell manager speaks out after life-saving CPR on baby in the drive-thru. There's nothing quite like a mother's instinct and a quick-thinking mom's act of heroism at a Taco Bell drive-thru saved an 11-week-old who had stopped breathing. Natasha Long pulled up to the Richboro Taco Bell outside of Philadelphia. Excuse me, with her son Miles on Saturday afternoon when she heard him struggling to breathe and got out to check, only to find he was blue and lifeless. So, I mean, this is scary. This is not what you were expecting to see out of Taco Bell. Like, what the fuck? Taco Bell manager Becky Arbro told Good Morning America that while working the lunch rush, I heard a scream and then someone yelled, "Call 911, my baby isn't breathing." I threw my headset and ran outside to the baby. The mom was panicked. I told her to give him to me and I performed CPR, Arba recalled. I was trying to calm her down and comfort her and reassure her that he will be fine. What an angel. What a superhero. She's over here logging in a Baja Blast, Chalupa, whatever, and then she hears this, and her first instinct is to like, fuck this job. I gotta go help this baby. I gotta go help this family out right now. And like immediately just knew what to do. And like, that's awesome. Like, I'm sorry, but like my dumbass would literally freeze in that kind of moment. Like I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be paralyzed. Like, and I know like, oh, you could get CPR training, you could learn this kind of shit, and I'm just like, I kind of tried, and I was like, I'm just too lazy. It's just not for me, you know. But like these are the kind of moments where it's like this really is when it matters, and because of that act, I think that like this baby was able to live, and she saved this baby's life, like saved this family. That's crazy shit. Let's, I guess, read a little bit further. The baby finally started to breathe. The ambulance came pretty quickly, and then they took over, Arba said. The EMT said I saved his life. See, that's so wholesome. That's so cute. As a mother for herself with two boys and two girls, Arba told GMA, she knows how to perform CPR because my daughter had issues when she was little. I had to do CPR on her a few times. So it just kind of goes to show that she's like, hey, I had to do this kind of thing. So like I applied it in my life. It was important. And now I'm in a situation where I can literally save someone else's life with this knowledge. And that's pretty fucking cool. So, I mean, I guess this is a PSA to be like, hey, learn CPR. You could save a life. It's kind of like the Heimlich maneuver, right? I was thinking about it the other day. Because I think that's one of my middle-aged fears is that my fat ass is gonna choke on a chicken bone or some shit all alone by my fucking self. No one's gonna save me, and like that's just that's my fear. But like a Heimlich maneuver, at least understanding how the Heimlich maneuver works, because I don't know if you ever watched the movie where someone's like Heimlich themselves like on a chair, like maybe that would save my life or save a life. You know what I mean? So kind of like that. I don't know. I'm being weirdly anecdotal, but like CPR is important, so it's a bit of a PSA for that. A cool Taco Bell moment. Taco Bell says add a add a Taco Bell employee there. I don't know what they're gonna give her. Hopefully they give her something cool. Hopefully some cash money or something. God damn it, you know what I mean? Because they're sure as shit not gonna give her an EMT salary. God damn it. But anyway, we'll call it covered there. We'll say that's the news. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Let's see here. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. If you would like to send some feedback. Let's see. Other free ways to contact me. Any of the socials. You find me. You find me in the podcast there. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps out a lot. Or subscribe to the Spotify or wherever you're listening, or all of the above. Really helps. Sharing is caring. Leave a like. Fuck a dislike. And comments are cool, especially if they're nice and cool. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye bye. Mwah.